is the right time to step into the puberty conversation? And do you have any best practices on having these awkward conversations?
It's a tough conversation to lean into, and I'll be honest, it always comes way sooner than you're prepared for. Sometimes it's not dictated by anything that's happening in the family. Sometimes it depends upon what the conversation is at school or their friends or what's happening in the education system. But other times I think it's important to start with the foundation of just having a close relationship with your kids in general. We strived, as my wife and I, to really create an environment where we wanted our kids to be able to come to us and talk about anything, have any conversations, whether it was puberty, whether it was drugs, whether it's other kind of cultural issues that kind of arise. We wanted to create an environment where they can feel free to bounce ideas off of us and to see what our perspective was. When it comes specifically down to the puberty questions, our strategy, one, I typically just punted to Andrea and let her take care of that, and I was always conveniently busy. But usually our first step was to always check in with our kids, because when they would ask a question, I would praise it and say, yeah, that's an interesting question. What do you think? Where are you at? Because oftentimes leaning into these conversations, our kids are just wanting one more nugget of information. They don't want everything. And sometimes we think we have to kind of cover all of our bases and find the perfect wording and make sure that it's not uncomfortable or awkward. There's really nothing you can do about making it unawkward. I mean, it's going to be awkward. I just want it also to be informative and clear. So ultimately, I want to see where they're at, what their goal is for the conversation, so I can give them some clarity about their uncertainty, whatever their next step of uncertainty is. And then at the end, I always ask for feedback, like, what do you think about that? Or what are your thoughts? Just to see, are there more questions kind of streaming around? But, I mean, the degree of awkwardness does not necessarily assess the degree of benefit or how well the conversation went. We often feel, because it was tense, or we felt it was tense or awkward, that it was the same experience for our kids, and that's not always the case. If we're just calm and collected and just kind of even keel and have an open conversation, it kind of promotes that conversation to continue even when other topics come up.